Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is a profound novella that delves into themes of alienation, human identity, and the absurdity of life. It tells the story of Gregor Samsa, a traveling salesman who wakes up one morning to find himself transformed into a giant insect. This transformation is inexplicable, and Kafka does not offer any rational explanation for it, which thrusts the reader into the surreal and existential themes that define much of Kafka's work. The story begins with Gregor's shocking discovery of his transformation. As he struggles to come to terms with his new body, he finds himself increasingly alienated from his family and the world around him. His initial concern is not about his condition, but rather how he will continue to support his family now that he cannot work. This is reflective of his deep sense of duty and his role as the family breadwinner. Gregor's family is initially horrified by his transformation, but their concern quickly shifts from sympathy to impatience and hostility as they come to grips with the burden of his condition. Gregor is gradually dehumanized and isolated within his own home. His room becomes a cell, and his family members treat him more like a monstrous pest than a loved one. His sister Greta initially shows compassion, attempting to feed him and clean his room, but even she eventually loses her sympathy for him. The family's changing attitudes towards Gregor highlight the themes of alienation and the human condition. As Gregor becomes less human physically, he retains his human emotions and thoughts, creating a dissonance that he cannot resolve. His identity and humanity are stripped away, not just by his physical transformation, but by the cruel abandonment of his family, who are more concerned with social appearances and their own material comfort than with his suffering. Gregor's existence as an insect becomes an embodiment of his previous life as a laborer. Kafka uses this metamorphosis to criticize modern society and its treatment of individuals. Gregor had been metaphorically an insect in the eyes of his employers and to some extent his family, long before his physical transformation. His life had been reduced to working and supporting his family, with no personal fulfillment or recognition of his deeper needs and desires. As Gregor becomes weaker and more neglected, his family grows stronger and more self-sufficient. They begin to take jobs and reclaim their lives, accepting Gregor's state as their new normal. In a cruel twist of fate, Gregor's presence becomes unnecessary and burdensome, and his death is met with relief rather than grief. The novella ends with the family feeling optimistic about their future as they move on from the tragedy without Gregor, indicating a disturbing willingness to erase him from their lives. Kafka's Metamorphosis serves as a stark exploration of existential dread, illustrating the isolation and alienation one can feel in a seemingly indifferent world. It portrays the terrifying idea that one's sense of self and human dignity can be stripped away as easily as changing physical form. Kafka uses Gregor's plight to critique the ways in which societal systems and familial obligations can disregard individuality and humanity. The novella is not only a reflection on the loss of humanity, but also a critique of the modern world's capacity to dehumanize individuals for the sake of efficiency and economic progress. Kafka presents a bleak view of human nature and society, and he uses Gregor's tragic story to prompt readers to reflect on the meaning of identity and personal value in a world that often seems cold and impersonal.